Hi, I'm Celeste and welcome to Find Your Purple. Well, I just walked back in from what I call my worship walk, and it's one that I used to take regularly every morning at dawn, and then I got out of the habit in the fall, and then I kind of didn't get back into it on a regular basis. So I thought today I would commit to it again, and it was in the low 40s when I went out, which seemed nippy, but then didn't take long for me to warm up and find that that's the perfect weather. So hence my appearance. But I thought I'd do a quick video on a question someone had for me this past week. And I thought it might be a question other people have. And the question was the question was stated in a way that it was an either or. Either I believe that God will heal you, or I believe that eating a different diet can change your health and heal you. And I guess it's not an either or for me. I think it's both. I think it's that God made our bodies to heal themselves. And if you cut yourself, it heals with all the conditions right. And then when things get off balance, that's where some problems occur. So it would make sense to me when your body's healing and the cells are regenerating as we speak 24/7, that it needs good nutrition to build those cells. So just like a car needs good gasoline, and you can't put unleaded in a car that needs leaded or leaded in a car that needs unleaded, because that's not what the car was built for. I think that's the same way of our body. Now, I didn't always believe this way. It wasn't until I was 62 that I even considered becoming a plant-based eater, and it was after I started this journey with Find Your Purple, trying to find ways to look better and feel better and find more joy in my life, that I kind of fell across a person who happened to be a plant-based eater, happened to be my age, and happened to have a lot more energy and looked younger. And so she started me on this journey of reading and watching videos, and I just thought I'd give it a shot. And because again, up to that point, prime rib and baked potatoes with butter, sour cream, cheese, and bacon bits were my favorite meal, literally. So I started on the journey, and I went cold turkey, again, not expecting it to work for me. And maybe it's because I was 62. Maybe it's because I had seen several people that I cared about die that were 62. I had some women I knew that were younger than 62. And I think maybe at that point it was the realization that I hadn't been treating my body right, and that diet was a factor to how I felt and how I looked. So anyway, I started that. So it's almost 2.5 years that I've been on what would most people would consider a vegan diet. And I feel a lot better. In fact, yesterday I went out to eat with someone, and initially when I started it, I missed a lot of the foods, and I still miss them sometimes. My daughter brought in Church's fried chicken the other day for she and my granddaughter, and I smelled it, and I immediately know what it tastes like, and I know I liked it, and I, kind of missed it. I wasn't really tempted to eat it, because after going 2.5 years, it's like, is that the piece of meat that I'm going to, break off? Now, I may eat meat again at some point, maybe some special meal or something, but it wasn't going to be for a piece of Church's fried chicken that day. So, so when I started, though, I kind of felt deprived, and it was a little bit harder. I was doing a lot of meat substitutes, but my goal was to find a substitute. I liked pasta, I liked Mexican food, I liked pizza, loved pizza, and I loved Japanese. And so I was finding a vegan version of each of my favorites so that I wouldn't feel deprived. I wanted vegan junk food. And so I kind of lived with that. Sometimes I would eat a vegan meal and think, well, I got nourishment, but it didn't really taste good, because for me, food was entertainment, and it still is to some degree. But over time, it's true what they say, that your tastes change. And yesterday, we went to Mod Pizza with a friend, and because it's the first of the year and I'm on a church, we have a corporate prayer fast that we're adhering to for 21 days, and I'm on a Daniel diet, which is basically a vegan diet, but it also cuts out grain and sweets and caffeine and alcohol. So we were at the pizza place, and they had a gluten-free pizza that I thought was cauliflower. So I asked them, and they said no, it was rice-based, which is a grain. So I couldn't have it. So they had a salad, and surprisingly enough, people assume I eat a lot of salads, and I don't. I'm not a big salad eater, and because the salads I liked the croutons, the bacon bits, the cheese, all of that on it. The lettuce and the green stuff wasn't what appealed to me. So anyway, they happened to have a seasonal roasted Brussels sprout salad, I think what it was. And so I got a big bowl of it, and you could still add other things. So I had artichokes and red peppers, but I was surprised, and the person I was with wasn't a vegan. And I told her, I said, what's surprising to me is I really, really, really am enjoying this meal. I wasn't feeling deprived. I wasn't feeling I missed out on something. I really enjoyed it. Now, that's not what I would have thought 2.5 years ago. And I also noticed once, fairly recently, I went into a Trader Joe's on the north side of town. And I was visiting a client, and it was nearby, and so I like to pick up some of their produce. And I walked in to this particular one, and you walk in, and the produce section's right there. And I remember getting excited about the produce section. Now, 2.5 years ago, that would not have been my reaction. But the produce was just, it was so colorful and bright, and there were so many options, and it was really exciting. And so again, I'm noticing that I am really changing how I look at food, and so there is a lot of change that occurs. You just have to give it time, and it's harder initially, obviously, than it is as you get going. So I believe you need to eat right, and for me, that's being on a plant-based diet. Now, my family members aren't all on it, but I do think my daughters, my 4 daughters, they're moving a lot more to fruits and vegetables than they ever did before. So they don't have meat at every meal, which is how I raised them, pretty much, with meat and cheese at every meal. So they are moving that way. They don't plan on becoming a vegan, nor do I push it on them, but they are paying more attention to what they eat. And so I still very much believe in healing. I'm involved in some healing groups, and I saw a woman, her leg grew in front of me, and it's a group called HOT, we call it HOTS, it's Healing on the Streets, and it started in Ireland. And you can look it up, but it's not related to any denomination, it's not related to a church per se, it's all Bible-based, but it's about the healing, all focused on the healing portions of the gospel, to bring people, to show people the awe and power of God, and then to open their eyes and perhaps their hearts to hear about the word. And so in going to the training, the person, and his name is Mark Marks, and he came from Ireland to do the training here in Austin. And so he had us gather around, and they had a person in the audience who happened to be someone I know who had one leg shorter than the other, and that caused all sorts of back problems as she's gotten older. And so he sits her on a chair, and he has her sit with her hips in the back and puts her feet straight out in front of her, and he holds her feet together so you can see clearly one leg is longer than the other. And so he had us all watch, and some people had their video, and there are videos on YouTube if you ever want to look at it. And he prayed, and as we watched, her leg grew. And now I believed in healing, and I've heard about stories about healing, but to watch that happen in front of you, I mean, literally, I was maybe 2 feet away. I mean, I was like 3 inches behind him. I was almost on top of him, watching over his shoulder was where I was, and we were all gathered around. But when you see it happen, it does deepen the faith. And it's sad, it should. It's like doubting Thomas. He needed to put his hand in Jesus' side before he believed. And so it's, you feel bad that you have to see it sometimes, but even Jesus acknowledged that's why he did the miracles, because he wanted to open people's eyes to the powers of God and open in many cases their hearts, and that's what brought the people around to follow him. And I think today healing is going to be becoming more and more of a open door to open people's hearts to listen to the gospel and accept Jesus into their heart. It's happening all over the world, but it's starting to happen more in the States. We're a little behind on that. So anyway, I do believe in both. I believe that when God heals you, he's not wanting you to go eat, 10 Big Macs or Whataburgers or, whatever. As good as some of that sounds, he's wanting you to take care of his temple. And I think that involves being reasonable with what you eat. And I'm not one of those that deprives, because again, I find food is entertainment. I find it very social. So I want to make sure I enjoy my food. But I have found that on the plant-based diet, I can still enjoy my food, and I can still, right or wrong, look at it as comfort and entertainment. I don't just look at it as nourishment. Maybe that's what I should be doing, but I'm not there yet. I'm at a point where I still enjoy it. So anyway, that's my answer. Long story short, I do believe that what you eat can help you heal, and I believe that praying in the Bible can help you heal. And I do believe healing can be instantaneous, as some of the people in healing on the streets, they are instantly healed, whether back pain or foot pain. And we try to document, and again, this is worldwide, and you see the documentation, but other times it takes time for the healing to occur. But I do believe that healing can occur through prayer. So that's it for today. As always, grab your cup of tea, sit back, and let's start sharing. Until next time, bye-bye.